now we're going to go on the Midnight Hour Radio Show to Deborah Smith Simpkins. What's happening, Deborah Smith Simpkins?
Hello, how are you tonight? Sounds like you guys are doing really good tonight.
We always do good.
How you doing?
Well, we got you on here now. We doing better.
We're blessed by the best.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Should be.
We are.
Hi.
I'm excited too. I'm always excited.
Okay, so Deborah,
What's wrong?
how you
with
doing?
you?
How you doing? There? How you doing?
Deborah.
That's good.
Deborah.
Oh, it's Deborah. Oh, excuse. I'm sorry, Deborah.
It's pronounced like it's spelled.
Deborah
But you know what?
Smith Simpkins, author extraordinaire, accusers of the ministry, is
Correct.
her most famous book, and it sold, I guess, 100,000 copies or so.
Is that right?
Ministers with White Collars and Black Secrets sold over 100,000 copies. That's my most famous book. The Accusers of the Ministry is the newest book out from my publication.
Did y'all hear that? And it's hot too. I saw the previews.
It's doing pretty good.
It's a hot book. So I take it. Well, the simplest way to put this is, I guess you was involved with some secret circle ministries, and all the ministers were going crazy over you.
Absolutely not. I was involved.
I know that's right. Tell it like it to y'all is.
I was involved in writing a fictional book, Ministers with White Collars and Black Secrets, which is embellished on a true life relationship that I had with one minister who happened to be a pastor and a well-known preacher, evangelist that traveled the country preaching everywhere and making loads of money preaching and getting people excited in the pulpit, from the pulpit.
And that was the book, White Collars and Black Secrets.
Ministers with White Collars and Black Secrets.
Right. That's hot. No, seriously, that's hot. I mean,
Yeah, because there's a lot of black ministers with white collars. They got secrets too.
and you know what's crazy is that now so many black influential ministers have been exposed, and you was exposing them a long time ago.
Well, I really wasn't exposing anyone. I was just telling my story, and it's a story of redemption. I'm now a minister myself, and I am not trying to expose, exploit anything as far as ministry is concerned, or I'm not trying to be part of the problem. I figured I might as well be part of the solution. There should be a minister out there that can encourage people, and their life can actually be an example of what people are looking for.
Yeah.
As far as an example, but we can't judge anybody. This story is a story of redemption, although it does expose some dark sides of the ministry. But I don't believe that there's any ministry that don't have a dark side. No one is righteous but Christ. And
Yes.
I'm just trying to tell people that you can't be in church, you can't be following Christ or having a relationship with God that's going to be dependent on your views or mistakes or mishaps of man. Everyone has fallen short, even the pastors, the preachers, the priests. It's got to be your relationship. And if they stop following Christ, you stop following them, but you don't give up on Christ.
Yes.
Right. Preach, sister, preach. Amen.
Well, let me ask you a question on that while you on that point. For the people who's not sure which way to go or whether or not they should follow your advice as far as
Well, hold on, Big Mo. I want to say that this is not the opinion of the Midnight Hour Radio Show, Screenworks Entertainment, or Radio 1. But, in fact, this is an interview with author Deborah Smith Simpkins.
Absolutely, and it's just a question, it's not an opinion. But the bottom line of what I'm asking is, how do they know which way to go if they're not sure of whether or not the church is right or wrong, or whether it's going to always, because, people look for churches or synagogues or what have you to go to that they feel most heavily in or most, far away from earthly things as possible. So how do they know what to pick or where to pick and whether or not they should stay there?
Well, that's a great question, and I have a very good answer. The church is not a building. And there's not going to be a perfect church. There's only and ever will be a perfect God. So you can't make your decision on what direction you're going to go based on a building, the people in it, how it's being ran, what you see, because some people have the liberty of seeing things that other people don't. Deacons are privy to more information than just a lay member, so they may see what's going on with behind the scenes with the money, how they're managing the money, and have a problem with that. When people that are just there giving and they're just regular members, they're not privy to that information, so they don't have an opinion, and they're just coming in just for the traditional worship service that happens on every Sunday. But people like myself, who's a bishop's daughter, and I was always behind the scenes seeing everything that went on, arguments, basically verbal fights, people vying for a position, cutting other people's throats because they wanted to be higher up in the ministry. So I saw all of that. But when other people are not privy to that, they're not judging from that aspect. So I would just tell people that they should never decide on what direction they're going to go based on a building. Whatever you're not getting from the church, bring to the church. If you see something that's not there, be part of the solution. I always bring the church with me wherever I go. I'm not going to depend on somebody else's level of worship to determine how much I'm going to worship God. Nobody knows what it takes for me to get there. I got 6 kids. I'm on my second marriage. I've been broken, busted, disgusted, but God has turned everything around.
Yes.
And that's why I don't know
Amen.
anybody that can attribute, if they really been through something and God brought them out, and he's turned my situation completely around. I went from needing to sell 10 books in the morning in order to feed my kids at night, having to sell at least 300 books in a month to pay my mortgage, my heat, and now a book, people meet me in the parking lot. I got to get your book. I got to get your book. The same people that said that they didn't want me or my books in their church, and then it just took off. Wendy Williams had me on her show, and it just sold like 100,000. That was nobody but God.
Yes.
And so
Right.
when nobody wanted me, they said I was a church hopping whore. They said I was a strumpet. I didn't.
Wow.
I was sitting in church one day, and the usher came to me and told me I couldn't even worship there. So guess what? I had no other choice but to worship God in my closet, in my bedroom, in my living room. So I'm not dependent on a building for my worship. If I make it to the church, I'm going to give God his praise. Nobody has any contributions to me giving God a praise.
Yeah.
If
So
you
I
let
gotta
me
ask you a
enjoy-
question
Absolutely.
though. Like, you seem to be somewhat of an attractive woman. So did Satan tempt you a lot in the church by being behind the scenes? I'm just asking. That's a fair question, simply because I know you're a really grounded spiritual person. But like, is that one of the ways that Satan was trying to tempt you as you was developing your relationship with God?
Well, I was tempted. I failed. I fell to the temptations, and yeah, definitely. Satan wasn't trying to tempt me. I can't blame everything on Satan. I'm a woman. I like womanly things.
Right, I
I
understand.
can't blame. I was looking at men and their vernacular outside of the church, so it's not Satan tempting me in the church. It's still men in the church.
Right.
Right.
And I choose to wear dresses that show my voluptuous figure. That's who I am. I'm not going to say Satan made me do it. I know what I consciously do. And you can't run a game on God, so I don't try to run a game on people because people don't have a hell or heaven to put me in. So I don't try to run no games. You just got to keep it 100.
Right.
No, I feel
right.
that. No, that's why I know that was one of the questions that everybody wanted you to answer that was listening in the 32 countries we listening, over 30 million people listening to you. You're a famous author and you writing on these subjects, and I know that that's one of the questions that everybody would have wanted you to answer right there. So
You're right. I didn't get 6 kids by not being tempted. I have 6 kids.
Right.
And I just want people to know my books is about there has to rise up a nation of people that just says, yeah, we're in the church, but we are going through the same things you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with the same issues you deal with. We're struggling to try to be better people just like you are. We're not a perfect church, but we can all come together and try to empower each other to be better. I'm not going to judge you. You can't judge me. Just pray for me, because even in the church, we still got issues.
Amen.
That's why we're there.
Amen. I have a question for you, Deborah. This is Candace Jones. Clearly, I read some of your material about the true meaning of Easter. And if you can just kind of give us a brief about that, because kids are all excited about these Easter eggs and dyeing some eggs. And if you can, just a brief synopsis, because we are on a schedule.
It's just that simple. I was just telling people it's just not about a sunrise service, the Easter bunny, or a Easter rabbit and buying all these things, but it's about a ultimate sacrifice that was given with unblemished blood for an unlimited victory. And if we taught our kids the true meaning of Easter, it would be more people out there helping each other than tearing each other down. Mm-hmm. It would be people willing to make a sacrifice for somebody else instead of always thinking of themselves. I remember when our neighbors used to chastise us, punish us, and watch us when our parents wasn't home. You can't do that now. You could go next door and borrow butter and bread and eggs, and you just can't do that now. Our community is like everybody is living behind prison doors in their own cells, and nobody is no longer a village or a community where we're helping each other. And that's why I really dug deep with that subject. And I'm just changed because I was just messed up. I was a gossiper. I thought the church was about impressionism, and God took me through all the hurt and the pain to make me wake up and see that this thing is real. And I'm just trying to reach everybody else and tell them it's okay. No matter what you're going through, it's okay. I probably was worse than you was. Mm-hmm. But look where God brought me from. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for you.
What a great testimony.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Sister, amen.
Absolutely.
Well, we got about 3-4 minutes left at top. With that being said, I want to open up the floor to basically induct you into the Midnight Hour Radio Show Hall of Fame. I'm going to let one of my fellow co-hosts here do it. I'll pass that buck to Rocky Thunder this time.
Oh, okay. Well, to induct you into the Midnight Hour Hall of Fame, what we do is we give you 30 seconds. You can sing, do spoken word, say something to the readers of your books or anything like that, and give you 30 seconds to do whatever you want to do, and your time starts now.
To all of the listeners listening to this fabulous show, just know that God is real, and you cannot judge him by man, because he's not a man. He is sovereign, and you have to judge him through your relationship with him. And I just want to say to all of you, thank you for having me here. This show sounds like a lot of fun, and keep on tuning in.
That is Deborah.
Thank you.
Deborah.
Buy her
Smith
books.
Simpkins. And on the Midnight Hour Radio Show. Show.
Now, what that does, Deborah, that allows you, if you're ever in Cleveland, you can stop by the Midnight Hour Radio Show, or if you ever just want to call in, you can do that as well.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
So how can people get in touch with you, Deborah? Let me give a shout out to Wendy Sable. Got to give a shout out to Wendy.
Hey,
What's going on, Wendy?
The greatest manager anyone could have. But you can reach me on Twitter at Simpkins Deborah. You can reach me on Facebook at Deborah Simpkins, Deborah Smith Simpkins. You can reach me on Instagram at Deborah Smith Simpkins, and my website is Deborah, Deborah, Simpkins, SIM as in Mary, PKINS.com.
That is Deborah Smith Simpkins on the Midnight Hour Radio Show.
Woo! Thank you.
Gracias.
Buenas noches, senora.
This was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.